Ed Hawkins at Cricket Betting, if you'd like to give him a follow. Writes all our cricket content for us here at Odds Market, and we'll be as well continuing as well with the World Cup. But Ed Hawkins, welcome to the show. How are you doing? We're over halfway through now of the Indian Premier League. How's it going?
Yes, I'm still watching every game, so it feels quite good to be halfway through because you feel like you've kind of broken the back of it now.
Yep.
And also, I think it's getting into that period of IPL where the wheat has been sorted from the chaff. Teams have stopped sort of mucking about, taking their foot off the gas, and it's now down to serious business. And I think we pretty much know the teams inside out now, and we know their strengths and weaknesses, and we can bet with a bit more confidence coming up.
Absolutely. And I have to say that you're looking a little bit more refreshed. You're looking a little bit tired. So are there fewer matches as we obviously draw closer? Is that why it is? You've got less ones to watch.
Maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe I'd had a heavy weekend. I don't know what you mean, Natalie. I mean,
you look very refreshed.
I thought I was looking okay, but no. I think the matches continue thick and fast, and we're still getting 2 games on a Saturday and 2 games on a Sunday. So there's no respite for me. Maybe I've been using moisturizer or something, which is making me look a bit fresher for you. So I'll continue to do that. But in the meantime, I think we've got quite a good game coming up tomorrow with Royal Challengers Bangalore against Kings 11 Punjab. I think there's a good bet there for us to get involved with. Royal Challengers Bangalore have won their last 2 matches, so as tends to happen with Bangalore, because of the types of players they've got in their team, people like Virat Kohli, who's an absolute superstar, and Marcus Stoinis, the muscle-bound Australian. The market tends to like a muscle-bound Australian all-rounder for some reason. And people like Moeen Ali, basically big-name players. AB de Villiers is another one who, of course, you'll have read about on the cricket page on the website, because we've got a player profile about AB. These are all big-name players, and they sell Brill cream and hair gel and deodorant. So because of that, people, they recognise them, they're household names. Bangalore tend to be shorter than they should be in the market. I'm not saying they're poor players. Of course, they are great players, but they are shorter in the market than they should be. And one of the golden rules of betting on IPL, since its inception, all those years ago, 8-9 years ago, however long ago it was, my brain's fried about all these matches we have to get through. It's a golden rule never to bet Bangalore at odds on, and Bangalore are going off odds on against Kings 11 for this game tomorrow, and the red alerts are going off all over the place, Natalie. It's a really great betting opportunity to get against Bangalore when they are this kind of price.
Okay.
I think Bet365 and William Hill are going as short as 1.73, which is a truly dreadful price at this stage of the tournament for a team that has won 3 times. Just try to explain that to me for a second. How does a team go 1.73 when they've won 3 times all season? In what sport does that make any sense?
Well, because I'm looking at to finish bottom, and Kings Punjab is 3.5. They do have the shortest odds there, and then Rajasthan Royals is 3.75. Does that have something to play with it? They've obviously sort of pegged them as the weakest in the tournament right now. Is that
if you can get 3.75 on Rajasthan Royals to finish bottom, I would suggest you take that, and then if it's still around, maybe sell some furniture and take a bit more, sell some hi-fi, sell a TV. I think Rajasthan will finish bottom of this league, and I think they'll finish bottom by some way, because we're now getting into this period where the World Cup players are going to be leaving, and the England players are going to be leaving imminently. I think Moeen Ali will almost certainly play his last game for Bangalore in that game against Kings 11 Punjab tomorrow. I'm actually even surprised he's playing, because I thought he'd be back on a plane by now. But Rajasthan will lose Ben Stokes, they'll lose Jofra Archer, and Jos Buttler has already gone back. that is essentially the spine of their team. Jofra Archer is their top wicket taker, although he was before their last game. I think he's one behind now, Shreyas Gopal. So he's their best bowler.
Yeah.
So he's gone. And Josh Buttler is their top tournament run scorer. He's gone. And Ben Stokes has been disappointing, but he's kind of a reliable face around to have about the place, and people will take confidence from him being there. I just don't see how Rajasthan are going to cope with those three players going. They don't have the resources.
Is that allowed though? They start the competition,
so I think they'll finish bottom.
And they're basically now sort of jumping ship to go and focus on the World Cup. So it's like, look, I've done my bit now. You guys continue and win and do what you can. Us top players now will depart. Yeah, see you later. And they just don't have the talent to come in to replace those players. There's a finite pool of players that they can dip into, and a lot of the players who are available have been picked up elsewhere because teams have been planning for this eventuality. The recruitment by Rajasthan is truly appalling. Why they've got themselves into a position where, at the business end of the tournament, just when they really need to start winning games, they're losing half their team. It's crazy. Eventually, Steve Smith will leave, and he's their captain. And he's just been installed as the captain. They've decided to sack Rahane halfway through. And Steve Smith will go before the last group game. So even if they made the playoffs, which just seems impossible to me, they'd then have to go back to the old captain that they sacked, or have another captain, which would mean they'd have three captains in a season. Yeah.
They're basically chaotic, and they don't seem to know what they're doing, Natalie. So that price you mentioned about them finishing bottom is a really great price. That is a great price.
There we go, 3.5. And Ed Hawkins was joking about selling your TV, because remember, you bet with what you can afford to lose. If you don't really like watching TV, then by all means, sell your TV. TV is not your thing. All right, and also very quickly, and then we'll get to a few match picks as well. But the Chennai Super Kings 3.25, Mumbai Indians 4, and the Delhi Capitals 4.33. Then goes to the Hyderabad Sunrisers at 8.5. So based on the odds, it kind of looks like a 3-horse race. Would you say that's correct, or are we sticking with our favourite, which is Chennai Super Kings?
Yeah, I think Chennai Super Kings is still the strongest team in the tournament. I say this every time we talk, don't I, Natalie?
Yeah.
I think since we last spoke, they actually lost 2 in a row. But they got back on home soil today, and they won pretty comfortably against Sunrisers Hyderabad. So look, they're going to qualify for the playoffs. They're probably going to win the league. They're so strong. They don't even seem to be, at full tilt most of the time. It's so easy for them. They started off so slowly today against Sunrisers Hyderabad. I thought they were just not interested in putting their foot down, but they got up and they won comfortably again. They really tied down the Sunrisers batting when it looked like they were going to get 200. But they're just the best team in the tournament. They're the most consistent. They seem to be able to win from any sort of position. If they're not in the final, I'll sell my TV.
Right. And is it Chennai Super Kings that have impressed you the most, or another team so far that have impressed you the most in the last week since we last spoke?
Well, I mean, Chennai just came back with such an easy win when they were under pressure today. I know they put themselves under that pressure, but teams seem to be falling over themselves not to qualify at the moment, and Chennai just keep punching on. Mumbai Indians, you mentioned second favourites there, really inconsistent and difficult to trust. Delhi Capitals, I've got major issues with Delhi Capitals. I know they're second in the league. It looks like they're going to qualify, but I just don't know how they're managing it because they can't bat. Every time they play, they get themselves into a terrible state when they're trying to chase a target. They're so unreliable. It's great for in-running strategy because Delhi are always going to give you a chance in a chase if you've gone against them. So that's good. But I can't see Delhi winning it because they're just so inconsistent with the bat. And there's four teams going through for the playoffs. Chennai are sorted. Mumbai will make it. Delhi will probably make it. And then it's between Sunrisers and Kings 11, I think, because Kolkata Knight Riders have just fallen off a cliff. They've lost 5 in a row. And if you've been following the match previews day in, day out, every time we talk about Kolkata, we say the same thing. They are a one-man team. We saw through the matrix very, very early on.
Yes.
If it wasn't for Andre Russell, they would be bottom. They probably won twice. So Kolkata are not to be worried about in terms of a playoff race, I don't think.
Interesting. All right. So tomorrow we've got RCB versus Kings Punjab. So low price there. So you're saying fade RCB at the 1.8.
Yeah, 1.8 is a terrible price. You never bet RCB when they're odds on. You only go with them if they're odds against. Kings 11 are about 2.1 with pretty much anyone you like. Betfair, Ladbrokes, Coral, Betfred, Betway. I think.
Yeah.
2.1 would be my pick here for Kings 11. They're a little bit inconsistent. They win a game, they lose a game. They win a game, they lose a game. They've won 5, they've lost 5. Sometimes they struggle getting the right 11 on a pitch. They tend to only pick 5 bowlers, which can be costly when they come up against a strong batting side. And although that is what RCB are, we know that they can be terribly unreliable in the field. They are always going around the park for runs. Mm-hmm. They lose their heads in pressure situations. At the death of an innings, they're conceding more runs than anybody else. And they're almost certainly over-reliant on Virat Kohli with the bat, I think.
Yeah.
They're just an awful price.
So, but you're basically just saying that it's just a good price, and that's why you're taking. Are there any other markets that you're looking at, like top bowler, top batsman, anything like that for that match?
Not really, because I'm so strong on Kings 11,
okay,
or I'm so strong against RCB. I just know it's just such an awful price. So we don't really need to go looking elsewhere, trying to find edges, trying to squeeze ourselves into an edge when we've got a solid bet slapping us in the face saying, take me. So it's a bit of a no-brainer. It's betting 101, I think, this one,
okay.
Natalie. If the first rule of betting is don't sell your TV and only bet with money that you can afford to lose, the second rule of betting is to take on RCB when they're 1.73 or 1.8.
There we go. Now, obviously, that was the main match that we wanted to focus on. We do obviously have a few odds out for any other matches. Any early leans? I know you really sort of go day by day, but any early leans right now? Obviously, Kolkata Knights super low there, 1.67. Chennai Super Kings on Friday, 1.8 against Mumbai Indians. Any other sort of like early leans for these matches?
Well, the Kolkata game is really interesting because they're playing Rajasthan Royals, and as we talked about earlier, I'm expecting them to be without basically their 3 best players. So, or certainly their 2 best players, and then a floater who could do something really extraordinary. So in Ben Stokes. So I think Rajasthan Royals are really going to struggle in that game. I know Kolkata have lost 5 in a row, and they're hugely reliant on Andre Russell. I don't think Kolkata are good enough to make the playoffs, but I also don't think they're poor enough to lose 6 in a row. The problem with the Kolkata bet is the price is 1.6, 1.63, 1.65 I'm seeing. So that's not great. We don't really want to be betting Kolkata at those odds considering their run of form. But look, in running strategy, if you can get 1.8. And I'd be pretty surprised if you don't get 1.8 Kolkata in that game, particularly if they chase. Particularly if they chase in that game, they're a really great chasing team. I would expect Kolkata to win that match, just because of Rajasthan are a really poor side, and they're going to be even poorer without their best players. But look for that 1.8 in running.
Yeah. Now, quickly, before I let you go, World Cup. I know you've started to write some team previews. They're releasing the teams for the World Cup. Who's looking good right now of the team lists that you have seen? Is there anybody that you think could? What about England? Do you think England could win it?
I don't like England. England are too short in the betting. I think England have got major issues with their bowling. You can't win a World Cup if you can't bowl, or you can't bowl consistently well. And for me, that is a major flaw with England. England are the best batting side there's probably ever been in ODI cricket. And they're going to get to the later stages of the tournament because of that. But can you win a high quality tournament when you can only basically do one suit? And we talk about this in franchise 2020 cricket all the time. There have been loads and loads of brilliant batting sides in 2020, and often they win the league or they finish second and they're short favourites. I'll talk about Hobart Hurricanes in the Big Bash. They're a great batting side, but they don't get up to win the tournament overall, because eventually it is bowlers which win you tournaments.
Yes.
And England don't have a great bowling lineup. And when you see the squads which are being released at the moment, England pale into insignificance against some of these bowling units. Australia have got a better bowling unit. Pakistan have got a better bowling unit. South Africa, Pakistan, New Zealand, they've all got these terrific pace units which can knock teams over. And England are in a real state of panic about it. If you've been following the cricket page on our site, you'll have read about them leaving out Jofra Archer, the Rajasthan Royals player who we talk about, of their World Cup squad, but he's expected to come back in once he's basically impressed in some warm-up games. They're so desperate to get him in because they know they've got a massive hole to fill in their bowling, because Liam Plunkett's form has basically fallen off a cliff. And West Indies earlier this year drew with England in a one-day series, and England should not be drawing against West Indies.
Nope.
In a one-day series. They're poles apart in terms of ability, and it was a real wake-up call for England, and they're just poor favourites for me at the moment.
Yes, there we go. If you'd like to start reading some of the team lists, head on over to oddsmarket.com /tips/cricket and start reading those articles there from Ed Hawkins. Ed Hawkins, a pleasure. I'll see you next Tuesday. Best of luck with your cricket bets.
I hope I look better for you.
Give him a follow at Cricket Betting on Twitter. Thank you very much, Ed.